Hola, bom dia. Yes, please like, comment, and subscribe. Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show kicking off at 8:30 in the morning here in Portugal, live from the Silver Coast with the news and weather. How are you to do? Do let me know if a few of you are doing so already in the comments, which is fantastic. I see Lonnie joins us in the morning, as does Victoria. Francis, James, Rebel Mamas here, everybody. Watch out. And Eusebio. Well, let me just start with this from Eusebio. Midlife Crisis World Tour. Bom dia. Bom dia, se vocês estão aqui pela. And this a very fascinating and wonderful quote. Construção de país mais livre, mais justo e mais fraterno. The quote from the 1976 Portuguese Constitution reads, with a view to the construction of a country that is freer, more just, and more fraternal. How about that? Isn't it great to be making your way towards a country like that, or even lucky like me to be in that country already? So let's have a look at that weather, shall we? And we're going to move around the countryside, countryside, if you like. Take a look at the weather and look at other parts, other districts we don't normally take a look at. So we will do the accustomed places that you are used to hearing about very briefly. Is that on your screen now? And have we got the Fahrenheit there for the folks from the United States? Look at this. Look busy, the boss is here. Okay, as you were. So let's have a look at this weather then, shall we, this morning? For you Fahrenheit lovers, 66 the high in the capital today, 52 the starting point. Clear sky at the moment. And in centigrade, that's 19 and 11. So starting at 11, rising to 19, the high in the capital. In Porto, starting at 10, rising to 17 today. Similarly, clear and sunny day. Isn't that nice? Bit cloudy. In central, in Coimbra, 9 the starting temperature, rising to 18. Currently 12 with broken cloud. And down in the south, in the Algarve, another 2-minute taster coming this morning from Carvoeiro, from Dougie. We'll go out with that this morning. Really enjoying those, Doug. Thank you for those. But 13 the low, 18 the high. Currently 13 with a clear sky. So let's just take a very quick look at the first two, which I'm calling here the other districts. We have other districts. It's like A, B, and C teams. No disrespect to anybody who lives in any of those. But look, there's, yes, other districts and more, and then the autonomous districts. But we'll work our way through these day by day. Aveiro, the Venice of Portugal. And the word on the street is there has now actually been a sign erected in Venice saying the Aveiro of Italy, would you believe? We'll look into that. 17 degrees the high today in Aveiro, up there in more northerly part of Portugal. 12 the starting point. Yeah, 17 the high, 13 and broken clouds at the moment. A sunny Friday to look forward to if you're up there in Aveiro. City and district, of course. It's not just a city with those lovely candy stripe caricatured beaches of Barra and Costa Nova. It is a district as well that stretches all the way down to Coimbra just about. So, yeah, sunny Friday to look forward to. And Beja, which you won't often hear about. But Beja starting out at 9, rising to 18, overcast and cloudy at the moment, and currently 9 degrees. So Braga and Castelo Branco to look forward to tomorrow. Let's see what you're saying before we go to that news. Have you got any yourselves? We are really keen to hear about your local news, and we had some superb local news and events sent in yesterday from Can Anyone Better? Andy in the Bairrada region, who sent in some fantastic digital posters yesterday. These sorts of things. The nature walk in the Bairrada region, that one near Agada. The continued celebration of the Magusto Festival, Caminhada and Castanhada de San Martinho, 27th of November. And of course, don't forget that Italian dinner in Albufeira. Those are the sorts of news items I would love to share with you, the local news, what's going on in your locality or in places in Portugal that you would like to travel to. So what's going on here then? Don's asking, Louisa, where are you at? She's okay. She's fine. Hit the likes, says James. And Banana Slug Guy. And he's back on Thursday, of course. How's it going? I think he's gone into some Hollywood level production for Thursday, so don't miss that. Owen tomorrow, of course, live cooking on the show. It's all Ask About Portugal or Ask Anything About Portugal Day tomorrow, where the theme will be sub-themed into Ask Anything About Portuguese cookery and food, and Owen at the helm tomorrow. and looking forward to some live cooking on the show, brought to you by the amazing Austin brothers. And Jean's here as well. Jeff's here, fantastic. Marty is here as well. Bon dia from a frigid Alaska with a fresh 45 centimeters of newly fallen snow. Do not complain about the cold in Portugal, folks. Amazing. And Louise is here as well. Fantastic. Bon dia. I've missed you all joining with a very doggy Wi-Fi. Doggy Wi-Fi, dodgy. She's a pet sitter as well as a house sitter, so it could be doggy Wi-Fi. Something new there. 5G. Do you use 5G? No, I'm using doggy Wi-Fi. Not sure how long it will last, but great to have you here. Jack Polly's here as well. The Pollies. We did feature your chicken yesterday, and Jack making reference to that. Glad you're liked her chicken yesterday. And yeah, Lonnie's here, everybody, firmly ensconced in Porto until we can get him out of that fine city and bring him to the Silver Coast, because we want to see him right here. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz terça a todos. Estudei 15 minutos ontem e 10 minutos até agora hoje. A top student, James, there, doing really well with the 15 minutes of Portuguese, as we urge all of you to do. Bom dia, alegria a todos. How is everyone? 15 minutes there? You can do it. So quick one of these for you then. Well done, everybody who's studying their Portuguese. Muito bem from Philomena there. And I did segment the lingo lesson, a special treat actually for the YouTube members. That's there. You can see if you fast forward to that on Friday's video, you'll find a really helpful lingo language lesson with Philomena. All that stuff, aqui, ali, those sorts of things, and you'll be spared the singing if you're a member and you've just watched this segment. Gumpers do it every morning. I'm reminded. Are we going to make that bumper sticker or not? The ideal Christmas present. Perfect stocking filler. That's us, the Gumpers, here on Good Morning Portugal. And we'll come back to more of your comments, of course. And it's Consumer Tuesday, where after 9 o'clock, we will welcome the wonderful Sarah Davey from Spartan FX, talking about happy holidays and hotel hacks today. I found a really, really special hack article blog, hotel hacks, which is in part hilarious and helpful in other parts. But I'm looking forward to sharing that with you, as well as this. I mean, what have you ever seen one of these on the streets of Portugal? Thank you, Eusebio. We'll run through this as well, it being Consumer Tuesday. This was Portugal's offering into the, what would we call it? The micro car, the budget car, the mini car. Yes, the mini, isn't it? It's Portugal's own mini, and we'll come back to it. But there you can see the comparison with the mini there. Top bit of Portuguese engineering, top bit of Portuguese parking. Isn't that great? I mean, you think a mini's small. Many of us here will have been in a mini at some time. You know, I remember my mate Martin's mini, and, you know, 5 of us being squeezed into that as we went to the West End of London of an evening. Happy times, going around Hyde Park Corner, you know, hold tight. The faster you scream, the louder we go, sort of thing. And the mini looks positively huge next to that Portuguese mini car there that we'll find out more about. Thanks to Eusebio, Midlife Crisis World Tour, for that. The weather in Lisbon, as we hear it from Thunderduck, it's good morning from Thunder, but it's a cold, sunny Lisbon today. Okay, thank you for that. We'll come back to your comments in a little while. Let's look at and see what's going on in the news today. Portugal resident, a bit doomy and gloomy actually this morning. We'll have a very quick look at that, but the more interesting articles I think today are in the Portugal news, so we'll bring those to you in just a minute. We'll skim the site over on the Portugal resident, because of course attention in Portugal, as it is in many countries across Europe now, or the world, is the rising numbers of COVID-19 cases as we go into the winter. And the PM, Antonio Costa, will he be the PM come February of next year? We'll find out, won't we? Late January, after that early election was called. But of course, PM Costa calls Infarmed meeting this Friday to discuss rising COVID numbers. So just to keep you in touch with what's going on, not to depress you at all, hopefully. And you can see for yourself what's going on in Portugal from those news headlines there. The one that's interesting to me is that, so the PM and Infarmed, which is really the committee that looks at these things and that makes decisions about what should go on as we go into winter, that meeting due to happen on Friday. Portugal seem to be having some of the best of it. It's all relative, of course. You know, the numbers are looking somewhat concerning as you look at the various headlines, and headlines like this: teleworking may become mandatory again if pandemic worsens. Another article that was published yesterday. And highest COVID death tally recorded since August, the day before that. Those numbers, I mean, it does sound very dramatic like that, doesn't it? And these are, of course, precious lives that are being lost. But the numbers themselves are actually, when you drill down into it, although it's the highest death tally, that sounds a lot more sensational to me, anyway, than when you look at the actual numbers. But that seems to be how it's worked right throughout the pandemic, of course. And so let's go then to the Portugal news and share their headlines with you. I was horrified by an image that appeared in my adverts yesterday. I have got to the bottom. If any of the more eagle-eyed of you noticed it, it was quite alarming, and it took me back to a similarly terrifying moment when an erectile dysfunction advert came up. For some reason, in my Google ads some months ago, and something equally horrifying turned up yesterday, and it was a wig advert. I mean, they must be thinking of me demographically, I would have thought, in need of erectile dysfunction help and a wig. But the picture was quite shocking, and it may turn up again, so be prepared for that on the Google ads on the news items that I'm sharing with you. Let me bring this onto the screen then, the Portugal news. Thank you to the Portugal resident and the Portugal news, the English language news sources, of course, here in Portugal. Let's skim this, shall we? Bring it onto the screen for you. There you go, with a man kissing a plate. As you do. And actually, interestingly, on this screen here, Ready, Set, Mo. We'll have a very quick look at what's going on for Movember. Of course, if you haven't tuned in for a while, like Louise here, Louise may have been wondering, what on earth is that on Carl's face? It is my Movember effort. We will reiterate the sentiments behind that in just a mo. Didn't mean to do that, but we will. We'll go to the Algarve and see what they're doing down there. But skimming these headlines here, the man kissing the plate is Joachim B. Hansen, who produced a brilliant display in front of running to sign for a closing bogey, a bogey-free 68. It's a golf story, everybody. And that's interesting, isn't it? Leonardo DiCaprio is producing the Pedroga Grande documentary, The Terrible Fires of 2017, of course. Leonardo DiCaprio in a producer role with a documentary being made about that. Porto researchers developing an edible COVID vaccine, so you can probably choose your flavor there with that. I'm liking the sound of this. Portugal committing to ending oil and gas exploration. Shout out if you want to see any of these, if you want me to drill further into any of these. And great news for a lot of you Justin Bieber fans, you believers out there. And I know you're there, even if you might not want to admit to it. Justin Bieber is coming to Lisbon, you lucky people. And date announced for the end of SEF as well. So should we have a quick look at that? While that's on the screen. Date announced for the end of SEF, of course. SEF being disbanded to make way for APMA. We're going to go and have a look at that now. But it doesn't seem to want to work for me. Here we go. Date announced. Does that change for you on the screen? It has. That's perfect. Isn't it? Brilliant technology. The dissolution of SEF has been officially announced in the Diario de República, with the government now having 60 days to transfer police powers to the PSP and to create the Portuguese Agency for Migration and Asylum, the APMA. The government now has until the 11th of January 2022 to carry out transfers of attributions in administrative and internal security matters. So there you go, folks. It's official there. Often it's interesting to read the last paragraph, isn't it? To see what... Oh, and look, we have the interesting thing here in the Portugal news is we have comments, which I will show. Oh, incoming on the old Outlook there. Comments. They're always... well, often the most interesting part, aren't they? People's reactions to some of these articles. But the final paragraph, will it be a cliffhanger? Will it be a little bit of cynicism woven in at the end? Let's see. The separation of SEF between police functions and administrative functions related to immigrants was foreseen in the government's programme and was announced by the Minister of Internal Administration after the death of a Ukrainian citizen at SEF premises at Lisbon Airport, for which 3 inspectors were condemned. Yes, imprisoned. Of course, just giving you the context of why that all happened. Steve Wesker from Lisbon, writing and commenting and responding to this just a day ago, says, arose by any other name. This has been a knee-jerk reaction by the government to a completely unacceptable incident, but throwing the baby out with the bathwater was not a measured response, but rather politicians eager to be seen to be doing something, and as usual, getting it wrong. And you certainly in politics, you can't please all the people all of the time. You see, whatever way they do this, they can't win, really, can they? Because if they don't do anything quickly, they will be looking like somebody like Steve Westcott may, of course, respond by saying, they're not doing anything. Why are they so slow to respond? Let's see. Let's give them a chance and let's see what happens with Seth here. And hopefully it will mean the end of many of the delays as well. I don't think, and when we talked to Gilda about this, we didn't get the sense, well, I didn't get the sense from her that this was going to be an additional delay. Everything's delayed there anyway, as many of you know. I think this is useful. I think this is useful. And when things like this happen, of course, it can be cynical, as Steve is suggesting there, but it can be an opening for transformation and change as well, can't it? So let's see. Let's give them a chance and let's see what happens without being too negative and cynical about it. There was something else here. Yeah, Portugal. Yes, trains instead of planes for the Portuguese. I thought that was an interesting to look at. And as well as the... where's this other one that I thought was good? Yeah, Portugal commits to ending oil and gas exploration. Let's have a look at that in just a moment. But let me see what you're saying about what was discussed there with Seth. Victoria, good morning to you. Hola, bon dia, kids, from sunny Praia de Rocha. How are you doing there, Victoria? Yeah, don't forget Coach Turner's on Friday, Victoria. You may want to join us on the screen as well. It'd be lovely to have you. And you Rebel Mama too. Maybe the three of us could have a chat about what fun we've been having with Coach Turner on the Growing Old Disgracefully program. 12 degrees, says Rebel Mama, here inside my kitchen. I should get my wood stove next week, I think. In the studio here, it's 10 degrees. 17 outside. Doesn't look like it. It was very chilly. It was an icy breeze this morning when I was out with the dogs. So 12 is not too bad, is it? Learn the measures. We can do it. What's that? It is part of the language after all. The measures. What does that mean, James? I was looking at, sorry, I'm looking at your conversations with each other. I must stop that. And there are many of them. Isn't that lovely? It was dodgy Wi-Fi, not doggy Wi-Fi. We haven't discovered a new canine technology there. Although I've been driving stick since I was 17 a couple of years ago. Okay, so more talk about, yeah, that's an interesting thing on Consumer Tuesday, isn't it? Where to buy and how to buy automatic vehicles, or non-standard. Is that what they're also known as? We are so fortunate to have so many creative and sharing people in this community. You're quite right, Jeff. And the Saturday night show really proved that. We had some fabulous contributions on Saturday that I managed to weave in. And what Saturday's show might become is the things that I miss, because so much stuff is sent to me. I call it stuff. I mean, your creative outpourings and expressions are sent to me, and I really don't like to miss any of it. So Saturday is a really good chance to catch up. If I have missed anything, I can weave it in on a Saturday. Louise and I are conspiring to make plans to connect. That's great, Lonnie. You'll just have to go along with what she comes up with. That's Mrs. Emmy's talking about there. And the pensioner killer car. Oh, that's what you're referring to, that little vehicle there. Mrs. M's just walked in the room in her dressing gown. Yes, I'd love a coffee. Thank you so much. How good is that? Suze Casola is here as well. I missed creation of gumpers. Could you take a sec to explain so I'll know if I am one? Hey, how about that then? Let's do that this morning. You know you're a gumper when ... So let's help Suze discover if she is truly a gumper. These are the Good Morning Portugal people. But yes, could you please complete that sentence? You know you are a gumper when ... How to get an automatic transmission in Portugal? Order and wait, then wait some more. There you go. There's the answer to that question. Most cars are now only auto. Really? And the new cars are those funny ones that you can play around at driving a manual stick. But they're essentially built as automatics. That's disappointing. But, you know, that's just an old guy talking, isn't it, with that sort of talk? How's this for specific consumption? Organic, shade-grown, fair trade, dark roast decaf, anyone? Bula bula. What does that mean, bula bula, there? But that is very specific, isn't it? That coffee bean. Where did you find that? Sarah's here as well. That's fantastic to see as well. So lots of things I'm missing, I think. William Ogilby. Bon dia, Carl, and all you lovely gumpers. A question: which mobile phone provider gives the best signal throughout Portugal, and especially central Portugal? Thank you in advance, gumpers. Let's not go with what the companies themselves say about that. Let's go with your personal experience. Central Portugal people, let's ask Jerry that. Central Portugal people, which in your experience is the best signal? I've used Vodafone in Central Portugal, and I wasn't too disappointed with that. I have to say. So Vodafone weren't too bad at all. And Sarah, bon dia, consumer question just out of interest. What can you not buy in Portugal that you've wanted to buy? Great question. Thank you for that, Sarah. I'm sure there will be. Oh, okay. Was that the answer there? James has not been able to buy his shade-grown coffee beans. Sometimes there's a first world problem, isn't there, that we just have to accept and move on there, unless that is upsetting, James. And we can't have that. We can't have upset gumpers, can we? Okay, so these coming in, you know you're a gumper when you see your name in all caps in the comments. Yes, Lonnie, you know you're a gumper when you get up in the US at 3:30 in the morning to watch live. Yes. You know you're a gumper when you wake up at 3. Yes, Jeff as well, longing to be in Portugal when you wake up at 3. I mean, that is amazing. It really, really is. And there we go. We've diagnosed her. I know I'm a gumper because I tune into the live show when pressing paperwork should take priority. And I'm very glad to be part of that sort of sedition going on there. Yes, you can use me as an excuse anytime. Next week I'll be watching you in real time, says Jean. How's that packing going, Jean? Okay, so let's go back to that article. We've got Sarah Davey joining us. We're talking about happy holidays. She's just come back from a holiday, which has prompted me to ask her a few questions about currency exchange and holiday making. It's not just for buying your house. When you've got an account with Spartan, you can use it for the rest of your life for currency exchange. It took a while for that to sink in for me, I have to say. She'll put me right after 9 o'clock. Portugal has joined 10 other countries and territories in a declaration to end the exploration of oil and gas. Isn't that amazing? There's probably no need for it, is there? Apart from the habits we have. And we were talking yesterday, weren't we? Rather than rethinking too much how cars are powered, maybe we should be rethinking how much and why we travel, perhaps, and how we own cars. Isn't it weird how there are often 2 cars in a driveway when they're perhaps, they could be community owned? It's going to take a while to change that habit, isn't it? But the founders of the Alliance Beyond Oil and Gas intend to mark a clear direction for governments, assuming that the objective is not small and the ambition is not modest. That sounds like us, doesn't it? That's another Gumper definition. Our objectives are not small and our ambitions are not modest. Danish Environment Minister Dan Jorgensen said in the presentation initiative at the UN Climate Summit, the COP26, or for some people, not much COP26. His government, whose country is one of the largest producers in the European Union, defined 2050 as the so look, a little bit of time for everyone to get their act together again, as the deadline for ending oil and natural gas exploration once and for all, and cancelled. Look, so more cancel culture, and cancelled future exploration licenses. The founders of the agreement are Costa Rica, France, Ireland. Let's see if India and China are in here, shall we? Stop it, Carl. The founders of the agreement are Costa Rica, France, Ireland, Sweden, Italy, New Zealand, Greenland, Wales, Quebec, and the US state of California. Some of them are known to me as oil and gas places, but I would have thought Italy shouldn't struggle too much with its giving up its oil and gas exploration. But I mustn't be cynical here. I mean, there are some big hitters in there, aren't there, who are signing up to that. So well done, Portugal, with that declaration of committing to end oil and gas by the 23rd century? No, 2050. Well done. Well done, everybody. And let's go back just to one more. Sarah's limbering up already. In the green room, enjoying the canapes this morning, the vegan sushi. Actually, I should say the virtual vegan sushi that we've laid on this morning, the holographic. Not much nutritional content. Be with you in just a moment. Sarah, just want to have a quick look. We'll talk to you before 9. We can't have you hanging about there. A dog has just come into the studio. What's going on here? Jimmy Chu in the studio. That's not good. Steady on, Jimmy. Steady on. Okay, one more then. Trains instead of... Oh, no, this could be really bad. He might start pulling over studio lighting in a minute. Hold on a minute. Trains instead of planes for the Portuguese. Just continuing then with the environmental shifts that are going to be great for the grandkids. Portuguese are willing to swap short-haul flights for trains and introduce climate change taxes, according to a new study. The 2021-22 EIB climate survey has revealed the concerns of Portuguese people relating to climate change and the environment. According to the survey conducted by the European Investment Bank, EIB, the vast majority of the Portuguese population, 77%, feel that climate change has an impact on their everyday lives. This is a concern shared by both the younger and the older generations, both at 75% in that poll, dispelling myths that climate change is more of a concern for the young and generally divisive subject. That's good. When it comes to regulation, the majority, 85% of Portuguese respondents, favour stricter government measures and would impose changes on people's behaviour. My goodness. Meanwhile, only 5% of Portuguese people still believe that global warming is not due to human activities. So that's a pretty good article there. And I don't know where the plane bit is, but I suppose that's one. Oh, that is why, for example, we financed high-speed trains connecting Portugal and Spain. That is the. I guess this is a bit of a PR thing for EIB, isn't it? And again, not wanting to sound too cynical, but EIB Vice President Ricardo Mourinho Feliz said 91% of Portuguese respondents say they want to replace short-distance flights by fast trains. I would. We must crowd in resources from the private sector and invest in new disruptive technologies to achieve the climate goals we have set. It's now or never. This is the critical decade to act. I wonder if he did that as an Elvis impersonation there, Senor Feliz. Okay, that's good to know. It's not 9 o'clock yet. We will play the theme tune, but let's bring Sarah on straight away because she's here and we should. Good morning to you, Sarah Davey from Spartan FX. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on this morning.
It's always a pleasure to see you. And I believe you're fresh back from a holiday. Have you had a nice time?
Oh, it was lovely. Yes, we went to Lanzarote for a week. So it was nice to get away and go abroad. And it wasn't too bad, the process. A little bit extra paperwork. Airport's a little bit quieter, certainly Heathrow, which is, I've never seen that before. And actually it was fine. Wasn't too much hassle.
Oh, good. And did you do your currency exchange with Spartan FX?
Not for cash, because we don't do cash. We just do bank-to-bank transfers. Not holiday money.
Lanzarote, and I suppose the elephant in the room, Sarah, is why did you not come to Portugal? All good questions this morning.
All good questions. A bit of a personal reason. My partner's auntie has a villa out in Lanzarote, so we took advantage of that. So
of course, yes, absolutely. But that said, with the amount of lovely testimonials and positive feedback you're getting from people in Portugal, I suspect you might have a few Portuguese villas to choose from friends you're making who are finding Spartan FX great to deal with. Shall we start with that, with this lovely testimonial that's come in? Great rates. Shall I put it on the screen? I think I can share this with you. Let me see. Where is it? No, it's not. It's not letting me do it. I think I'm going to have to read it out instead. I've got it as a picture file here. It is great rates, fast conversions and transfers, top shelf service, all round great experience. First time user of an FX broker, and had my reservations. So this is interesting, isn't it? People who make the conversion from going with their old habits, maybe of using their bank. Or Marks and Spencer's or the post office, whoever. But they took the time to explain the process and followed up on each transaction to ensure a smooth exchange transfer. Thanks, Neil, Sarah, and Ben. Compared it to the bank rates and saved. This is the big deal here, isn't it? Literally, saved roughly 3.5% to 4% overall. That's a big saving. Timing was equally great with transfers landing in my bank account the next business day. Now that I have my first FX conversion experience under my belt, this is a seasoned trader now, by the sound of it, I can safely say that I will use Spartan for all my FX needs moving forward. Fantastic feedback there. That's great, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. I mean, we generally say there's about a 3 to 4% difference, but obviously when customers check and give us that feedback, then that's even great to hear that. And that we've saved the client money and they've had a really good service. It's actually interesting, leads me on really to a couple that I met. So we were staying in the villa and the couple next door have just moved in. They moved in last year. So they've bought the property last year. They moved in, I suppose, during COVID, so to speak. And they've made me think of you and all the members here. They've gone to live there permanently. They're from the UK. And it was interesting speaking to them because a couple of things, obviously hindsight's a great thing, so you can look back and say, well, this is how we could have helped them. But it's a great example really of I suppose what they did and what we could have done for them. So a couple of things. One is that they unfortunately for them, they agreed to buy the property just before COVID hit. So they were obviously looking at better rates of exchange. It was probably really similar to what we're looking at now. I mean, sterling euro is about 1.1837 as the interbank market rate. And they're the sort of rates that they were kind of looking at when they were buying their property. So obviously they calculating that, and that's how much that was going to cost them. They agreed to buy the property, then COVID hit and the rate just dropped dramatically. And unfortunately, they had to still purchase that property. Obviously, the bigger picture is the lifestyle, and they want to live over there, and that's really the bigger picture. It's just really unfortunate that the rate moved so dramatically against them. The other thing is they did use their bank, so again, you're kind of losing out on that rate. But one thing was really interesting speaking to them, and their experience was, one of the things they said was that they were really nervous about making the transfer because it was just such large sums of money. So that was one of the things. And then also when they transferred it, it was that sort of, where's my money? And they were just sort of sat waiting, checking their bank account over there, just to, all the time to see when that money had arrived, and it just, if they could have had that sort of reassurance. So it was just really interesting to speak to someone that's done it in that way, and their experience and how they really felt about it. And it was, the webinars that we've done and the options that we tell people are available, what we could have done really, again, as I said, obviously hindsight is a good thing. We didn't know COVID was going to happen, but when they bought their property or agreed to buy their property, we talk a lot about forward contracts and being able to fix the rate. They could have fixed the rate then for the full amount, so that in that scenario, when COVID hit and the rate dropped, they're locked in to the rate that the rates they were looking at when they were actually going to buy the property. So they know then how much it's going to cost them. Certainly from a budgeting perspective, it's very good. And then obviously we don't know what's going to happen sometimes in the markets. There can be a little bit more volatility. Certainly things like natural disasters, COVID, no one can plan for that. We could have locked in, and then it wouldn't have cost them as much. And then certainly, as you said, with the testimonial from that lovely customer who's a member of Expats Portugal, we would have saved them money against their bank, for example. The other thing as well is we talk a lot about the personal service. And again, I think when people are thinking about making exchanges, yes, the rate is very important and we can give you a very good rate. We can save you money. But also it's just that reassurance. As that couple said, it's a very large sum of money. And maybe when you're thinking about it and you're not moving, you think, oh yeah, I can do that myself. But when you actually come to do it, it can be maybe quite daunting, or you're not sure, as Ben described in the webinar that you can actually view on YouTube, that, it's little things like you've never experienced an IBAN number before. And little things like that, isn't it? It's just sort of different, and maybe you just want someone to explain it for you. And the other
I think we should, Sarah. I think we should. Can I play the 9 o'clock titles? People won't forgive me. This is what helps people really feel like gumpers, which is our collective noun now, or the name of somebody in this community is a gumper. It's not the most elegant and attractive name, it has to be said, but it seems to be sticking. And we do love to have this theme tune put a spring in our step, because I'd love to talk to you a bit more. You're all right for a few more minutes?
Absolutely. Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's see. This will change the atmosphere, and we've got some lovely comments coming in, and maybe we should talk about IBAN numbers in just a moment. So there we go. That's quite a big pause at the end of that. Talking of big pause, Jimmy Chu is still in the studio with his big pause on my feet here. I'm afraid that he's going to get up and run out of the room any minute and take the studio lights with him. But let's see. Let's stay tuned to see if that happens. We've had some lovely feedback coming in already. You've been described as a family here. Look at this. I'm a Spartan FX client and love it. I feel a member of yet another family there. Probably not many.
Oh, that's lovely. Really nice to hear.
Isn't that great? I'm not sure many FX firms have that said about them. Suggestion from James as well. In the US, if you have a brokerage account, it will be much easier to connect your transfers from the brokerage to Spartan FX. What does he mean by that, Sarah?
I think some Ben went through it, as I said on the webinar. There's a couple of banks that are easier to send international transfers from, especially in the US. So there's different banks that most banks are okay. There's the odd ones I think are a little bit hard. But certainly the brokerage accounts, they're a little bit easier, some of them. And what we've found is that some customers, they've moved their money from one bank to another, so then it's easier to make that transfer. So again, it's all about really doing your research before you leave the country. I would definitely say, we say it a lot, but it is a problem that comes up quite regularly, whether it be will your bank move your money internationally when you're out of the country? As I said, it's not something that you've ever had to do before, so you wouldn't know. Again, we just want to make those transfers as easy as possible so that it's not a case of that you have to, we've seen it before, clients have had to get back on a plane and go home to sort it out, which obviously that's time consuming, expensive. We've talked again about a card reader. We generally have them in the UK, but having said that, I haven't used mine for years. So, I wouldn't even know where it is. And some say that you do need that. And again, it may be something that you need to apply for when you're in your own home country. I think you mentioned about a customer that had to get it sent by DHL over to them. But that might not be possible. It might have been a case you still had to go in. Is there any paperwork that you need to fill in? I think we had a customer recently who fortunately she was having problems, but gave power of attorney to her sister back in her own country so that she was able to help with that. But again, it's that planning of that in advance. It'd be more difficult to set that up once you're over in Portugal.
Yeah, for
James,
sure.
I'll say hi to Neil.
Yeah, look at those personal hellos. You don't mind doing that, do you?
No, not at all.
That's amazing. And he goes on to say US banks are mostly clueless and don't know what they're talking about. Thought it was money laundering that he was up to there. And you mentioned the IBAN before the theme tune there. For people who don't know, and even people working in banks in America don't know what an IBAN is. You think they might, but what is the IBAN number, just briefly, Sarah?
Yeah, so we have it in the UK and in Europe. It's really, there's a few different parts to it. So the N code, I think about 8 digits, is the account number. The next 6 is the sort code. And then there'll be a bank code that identifies the bank. So for example, here in the UK, it's Barclays, for example. It will have a unique code that will be unique to that bank. So if you're banking with sort of Millennium Bank, again, there'll be a unique code. And then you've got on the first 2 digits is a letters, which is the country as well. So there is a clear breakdown. It is quite straightforward. But again, when people have not used that before, it's slightly different. And we have spoken to bank tellers on behalf of customers just to help them talk them through that and how that works and where they need to put that information into their system at the end of the day. Just again to make that process easier. And again, it's just checking those details. So we've had clients where they receive bank details on email from a lawyer or whoever they need to pay. Often, and even myself, you sort of take it on face value, but actually, have you checked that they're correct? There's human error. They might have inputted that wrong on that email, for example. So we're always sort of calling the lawyer, for example, if they're buying, just double checking those account details or getting you to do that as well. We had a customer recently who was buying a property and the funds he was told to pay to the vendor, which is quite rare. Usually it goes to the lawyer or the escrow account. So we asked him to just double check that and make sure that that was correct and there wasn't anything untoward going on there. As it transpired, yes, it was correct. It was going to the vendor, but he really appreciated that because he hadn't even given it a thought. And he thought, actually, yeah, that's worthwhile just double checking these sort of things. Because again, it's a large amount of money. You don't want to find that it's been sent to the wrong person or there's a digit wrong on the account. And then where's that money gone? So it's little things like that. It's just, you know, double checking that for you and making sure. And what I was mentioning with that couple that I met, as I said, they were sort of needed that reassurance of where's my money, where is it, sort of from me transferring it to my, say in this case it would be for you, would be your bank in Portugal or the third party. So what we do is that we are always in contact with our customers and we will notify you where the money is throughout the process. But actually we've got a new system now in place that automates that. So as soon as the money hits either your account in Portugal or it's a third party account, say a lawyer that you're paying, you'll get an email automatically to let you know that the money's in the account. So again, I think that really helps that reassurance that you'll always know where the money is.
Superb. We more good words coming in for you here. Rugby Colin, our mate Colin, he said, Spartan are the only transfer company I've ever promoted, as they're the best and most personal and a pleasure to deal with. And Marty switched on to you this morning. Well, I'll reach out to Spartan. I've been using TransferWise, but it sounds like Spartan offers a more personal touch, which is great. And that's certainly the case. Family was the word that was used before. Now, something that's occurred to me, and I think I mentioned this to Ben the other night when we were on the webinar. So there's a full-length webinar talking about many of the things here, but expanding on them and other things as well that won't be mentioned this morning. That's in our most recent Portugal calling webinar on our YouTube channel. But I said to him, it's a bit like, you know, a dog is not just for Christmas. Spartan aren't just for your house sale, are they? If you're somebody, for example, an American receiving an American pension, you might want to keep that relationship going with Spartan to do that exchange for you and get the best rate. And I cheekily asked you about your holiday spending money. I mean, if somebody is going, how can we make the best of getting a decent pound rate for you? You've got an American, let's say, who's got their pension coming in. Could they change it to pounds instead and then pull the pounds out when they go on holiday to London from when they live in Portugal and in Europe? They could do a pound exchange, sterling exchange, couldn't they?
Yeah,
and then use Revolut or something.
How we operate, and again, sort of, I think the way the business model's set, we've all come from larger companies and we've seen how they've perhaps integrated some sort of travel money facility. And generally, it's always best to specialize in one area. A, because you can be the best at it, and B, it means it cuts down on the costs as well. So it means that we can offer better prices to our customers. So that's one of the reasons why we don't get involved massively in the travel money, because it's quite an expensive thing to get involved with, and you've really got to have the volume on that. And often I've seen that there's more problems than it's worth. But so no, there isn't a way that you can do that. It's just the bank-to-bank transfers. As I said, we specialise in that. But there are other avenues out there. Again, always check with your bank that you're banking with. What are the charges on your card? Some banks have improved slightly, I think, a little bit on that. And there are other companies out there that have cards that are very good as well. So again, you know, it's always for us recommending the best service for our customers. So if there's other companies out there that offer a card that are very good, use it for that. I think there's a service for everything. So we've had customers that, yes, you know, you've got sort of Revolut, you've got TransferWise, you've got others that have got a card that's very good. If you're doing the small amounts, that's probably a very good solution for you on that front. And we've had customers that have used TransferWise, for example, or Wise as they're called now, to do sort of smaller transfers, but have now come to us to do larger transfers, because again, for those very reasons, that they realize that they need more help, support, guidance on the rate of exchange. As we talked about, rate movements can have a big impact on that. But you're right, it's not just for the larger transfers. I have said, obviously, that other companies have got a card. Again, that's travel money. It's a different type of product. We're talking about bank-to-bank transfers. So whether you're paying for your NIF number, you just want to top up your local account, you've got a pension transfer, you're paying fees to a lawyer, or, as I've said before, the pool man, anybody that's transferring money to a bank account, that's what we specialize in, and we can help you save money on those rates. And even on a 20,000 euro transfer, you know, even a sort of 3 or 4% rate movement, you could be talking about a good couple of £100 difference just on a rate movement. So it's still always important to be watching out on the rates of exchange. You know, we're at very good levels at the moment, certainly for sterling euro. The last time we're, as I said, 118.37. As I said, it's the market rate. So it just gives you a rough idea of where we're at. The last time they hit it in October, but then before that it was February 2020, so just before COVID. And again, if you're in America and you're buying euros, again, we're at very good levels, almost sort of pre-COVID as well. I think it was July 2020 that we hit those rates before. So again, it's always worthwhile watching out for the rates, and that's the area that we specialize in. And again, sort of making sure that your money arrives and where it is, and you can keep track of it and that sort of thing when it's a bank to bank. But if it's travel money, then, you know, you will have to use either your bank card or we have had customers that use their, say, for example, you've got your Portuguese account in Portugal, you'll then get a debit card, so you'll be able to spend that, or you can use another card.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. So stick to what you do best, which clearly is what you do. Sarah saying here, Sarah Yeoman, for an American, hearing those calm British voices explaining everything helped the fingernail gnawing in. That's another great review, isn't it? The calm British voices of Spartan FX. We now have an ongoing relationship with Spartan FX. Hi to Neil and to Ben as well. So lots of messages to pass on this morning from the gang here. That's great. Neil is my SFX Spartan FX contact, and Ben called me on the day I broke Google. Oh, it was you, and helped me work out the brokerage thing on the one day I had left to get it all done. It was a huge help, and I love it. You say, yeah, paying the pool man is a new one here for this community. Paying the language tutor. So a bank-to-bank transfer in euros. If you want to pay your language tutor from your money's coming in from dollars then into euros, and you can pay your language tutor in euros if it's a bank-to-bank transfer. And yes, probably the final message we might share this morning then, Sarah, get it done well in advance, right? Don't leave it till the last minute. This can be a problem for people.
Oh, absolutely, because you don't want to find that there's any delays or there's any issue. You know, you want to get it. Always think, again, planning in advance, and then you've got no problems. What happens if, for example, you don't do that preparation and you don't look in advance, you're looking to, say, buy a property, or you need to pay for your NIF number, whatever it is, you've got a deadline to hit, and all of a sudden you can't move your money, your bank's got a daily limit on how much you can transfer each day, which is fine, but obviously if it's a larger amount, you might be doing it over 2 weeks, which is doable, but again, if you've got a deadline, that might not be realistic. So again, it's just all that kind of preparation that, you know, it is often thought about last minute. It's lower on the list, which I completely understand. You know, you're moving country, there's lots of other things to consider. As I said, it's just a visa, where you live, those sort of things are high on the list, and we're usually low on the list. But as I said, we just don't want it to become stressful for you when you're trying to make, you know, meet a deadline.
It's challenging assumptions, isn't it? Because the one of the assumptions is, oh, I'll just use my bank because, you know, I've always used my bank. That's one to challenge. And it's my money, it's in my account, I'll just get it when I need it. That isn't always necessarily so either, is it? There might be limits on the amounts, the card pin machine, all the rest of it that you mentioned before. So think twice. And a final word from James here. He's offering I think he could be on the team of Spartan FX, really, couldn't he? Just getting it done before you need to leave the country. There you go. More advice from a man who's done that. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me this morning. How's it looking in the UK today?
Well, actually, so I came back on Sunday. We had lovely weather. It was like 25. It was sunny. It was nice. Yesterday was horrible. It was grey and miserable, and I missed being on holiday. But today the sun's come out, so
I can see it coming through the window there. It looks fantastic.
In fact, I've had to lower the blind. That's why I'm a little bit more in the shade there, because it's streaming through. So can't complain. It's a nice problem to have.
Excellent. All right. So from me and from a lot of people here, all the best to the team there.
Lovely. Thank you. Honestly, it's been a great day to come on. Lots of love from all the members, which is great. Just pleased you've had such a great experience. And I'll certainly pass it on to Neil and Ben and the rest of the team. Good day.
Have a great day. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
Bye.
See you. There she goes. Sarah Davy from Spartan FX. And some while ago, I put in the link. Actually, I'll do it again now. Why not? It shouldn't be too much for YouTube to take this in its stride. So there you go. Yeah, click on that link if you want to set up. It's a free account. I don't know if she mentioned that, but a free account with Spartan FX. Okay, Mike's here. Bon dia. All lockdown restrictions progress here in Limburg. Homeschooling restarted. Oh, joy. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Jimmy Chu still prowling around the studio. Stay tuned for that to see if he pulls over the computer and the lighting like he did last time or one of the times he was here in the studio. And I've got a really cool, funny well, it's cool and it's funny. These are the nifty hotel hacks for a smooth vacation. And I think we've all done these to some extent. I mean, some of them are hilarious. I want to know about your happy holidaying hotel hacks this morning. We'll go back to some of those, you know you're a gumper when. But wasn't this wonderful? The pictures that came in from Eusebio about this particular vehicle that the Portuguese made. Where are we now? Come on, let me just find you. Eusebio. Oh, here we go. All right. Let's see how you preface this, my friend. Can I introduce you to the Sado? There's your problem to begin with, right? That's not going to work well, is it, in the English-speaking market to create a vehicle called the Sado? They should have perhaps run that past a few people, but there you go. There you have it on the screen right now. I like it. I'm thinking with me. Actually, my knee was a lot better today when I went out this morning with the dogs. Mrs. M has still been putting things in my belly button. Seems to be a very good way of transmitting nutrients to the body, it would appear. Anyway, enough about that. Yes, if you've got mobility issues, it could be a little bit tricky getting in and out of that bad boy, couldn't it? But that is the Sado. And we're being introduced to that on Consumer Tuesday here on Good Morning Portugal. The two-seater manufactured between 1982 and 83, so short-lived manufacture by the Portuguese in Setúbal. Setúbal, quite industrial, of course, and I think there's a bit of oil refining going on down there as well, and the birthplace of Jose Mourinho, and a bit of a hotspot for expats thinking about moving just south of Lisbon, of course. Unfortunately, can't find a more significant date. So can't put that in this day in Portuguese history. But what a beauty, you say. And it has a Daihatsu engine, which produces a massive beast of a thing, 28 horsepower. But it could get up to 120 kilometers per hour. There is the Daihatsu engine. This isn't automatic, is it? This is a stick shift for sure. Look at that compact, neat little device there under the hood. Let's have a look at the interior. Very simple, yes, stick shift and a nice, look at that. That's a very reassuring radio you've got there with the two knobs, one at each end and then the presets in the middle. Look at that, kids. And a slide window, not a winding window, a slide window so you can stick your elbow out to get a bit of a suntan. On your elbow, of course, and there it is parked up on a Lisbon street, possibly. That's lovely. I do like that setting, and there it is comparing itself to the Mini. And we've got one more picture to share with you, but let's see what Eusebio is saying about this. There are only 500 made, and it came in 6 versions. That can't have made much money, can it? 6 versions and only 500 came off the assembly line, measuring just just under 2.5 meters. And let me give you that more specifically. And we've got some video as well. I'll give you a video link if you want to look at it on YouTube as well. I'll stick that in the comments. Do it later though. Don't do it now. Hold on, Control C, so I can share that with you. Jimmy's getting a bit fussy here. This could turn out interesting, but measuring just 2.365 millimeters long and 1.345 millimeters wide, the micro car was designed to accommodate 2 people and their luggage. While also fitting down the narrow streets of the nation's historic cities. Superb. The Sado, we present to you the Sado, everybody. There it is compared to the Mini. I mean, that Mini is going to be, worth a fortune as well now, isn't it? With its sliding windows as well. And no alloys on that. Look at those hubcaps. Look at the hubcaps on that. And there it is. To compare it to a fully grown man standing next to it, you kind of got to fold yourself into it. It's probably all right once you get in and get going. There you are, your companion and your luggage in the Sado, everybody. Thank you very much. part of Portuguese history shared with us. Didn't catch on. I wonder what it's worth now. Maybe somebody would like to look that up for us to see how much it was cost to buy a Sado. Not for many of our American friends here, because, hang on, I'm posting up the Sado video. Could be all sorts of things, couldn't it? Could be Coldplay, couldn't it? Yes. So I wonder how much one of those would cost now. Only 500 made, and an important part of Portuguese history. Okay, let's scroll back as well before we go into these hotel hacks, which I think are very funny, and I'm sure you'll be chipping in a few of your own. Forgot to mention, didn't I, when we were going around the news articles, that we have the Movember update coming from the Algarve as well. So well done, you fellas in the Algarve. Let me just bring that to your screen now. And there's even ladies getting involved in this down there in the Algarve. Whatever you grow, you save a bro. Just to remind you then, patchy, lopsided, itchy or epic, whatever mow you grow this Movember, your face will raise funds and awareness for men's health. So I'm not actually doing this as a sponsored thing, but just to raise a bit of awareness and see who else is interested in doing it. We've got Andy Gilchrist and we have Francis in Cape Town, who was our inspiration, really, and that's going well. His face furniture is shaping up quite nicely over there in Cape Town. 2021 is the year. Pledge to grow your mow this November. Donate to the cause and get the conversation started. Okay, so look at that. You can have a nice twirly one with some waxing. Apparently, donations over €20 also get a free Movember t-shirt and an epic Mo shave at one of our sponsoring barbershops. Excellent. So it's all about mental health and suicide prevention, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, men's health issues, of course. And there you can follow them on Instagram, what they're doing down there in the Algarve. So well done, folks. Look at that. And this is what happens in Portugal. Gets a lot of lovely sponsorship, organizations, associations getting involved, and some very interesting looking shops, organizations there. Beer and Co down there in the Algarve. Travia Natural Wines and Foods. I like the sound of that. The Jazz Shaker Surf Shop. The Algarve Lifestyle Community Magazine. A lot of things I haven't heard of here. Burgal Sports Centre as well. And our mate Senor Zeferino is down there, isn't he? I bet he's involved in this. Black and White, Burgal Barbarians, the Beach Rugby Club. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? Morello, the men's salon. So well done, all of you, for getting involved. Southside Salon as well. Great place to have a proper shave by the sound of it down there in the Algarve. Well done, everybody involved in that. Superb. Okay, hotel hacks to bring you as well. We will scroll through these as we will with your comments as well. So what's being said? Let me just bring this up onto the screen. And please, yes, beware possibly of some of the strange Google ads that might pepper the screen as well. Nifty hotel hacks for a smooth vacation. But before we do that, let's see what you've been saying. We've got a lot of catching up to do in the comments, haven't we? How's this for specific consumption? Yeah, I'm going to come back to that as well. Lots and lots of comments there. I hope I've said hello to everybody who's here this morning. Do remind me if not. Okay, so today in Portuguese history as well, the 2014 Golden Visa scandal leads to Interior Minister Miguel Macedo resigning over an investigation into alleged corrupt issuing of golden visas to wealthy foreigners. Well, I never. He allegedly, where there's muck, there's brass. When there's brass, there's corruption. He allegedly favored a group of individuals who wanted to profit illegally from the golden visas program through lucrative real estate deals. Follow the money. In 2019, Miguel Macedo was acquitted of all the charges. Okay. Thank you from Lonnie to Eusebio. The construction of a country that is freer, more just, and more fraternal. I am here and want to be a part of that. And that, of course, was uttered earlier on. Construção de país mais livre, mais justo e mais fraterno. And I hope our community here reflects those values too. That was superb to include this morning. Thank you, Eusebio. We talked about doggy Wi-Fi, didn't we? Which turned out to be dodgy Wi-Fi and stick shift. And Jeff, yeah, look, we're so fortunate to have so many creative and sharing people in this community. For those of you who are creative, and I know we all are in some way, and some of you haven't declared yourselves or shared your wares, do so. It's Consumer Tuesday. Tell us about your business. Don't be shy. Owen's here, who will be our star tomorrow, doing a bit of cooking. Or ask anything about Portuguese food. And between us, the amazing Austin brothers, me and Owen, will do our best to answer that, as well as cooking live. He'll be here cooking live. Owen, what have you got for us tomorrow? I'd like to know, what foods do you miss from home that cost too much here? Ooh, what was I You know what? A laksa, a Malaysian laksa. I bought one. I had one delivered to my mum in London. And I was thinking to myself, I could kill that myself right now. A Malaysian laksa. And now that's not an English thing, is it? Particularly, certainly not a Portuguese thing, but maybe, you know, the Malaccan Portuguese thing. There might be a Portuguese twist, a contribution to the laksa noodle soup with its lemony, citrusy, and coconutty flavors going on. Oh, stop it, Carl! And curry going on in there in the mix as well. It's quite an amazing dish. It's not that it costs too much here. It's just, I don't think you can even find it. Yeah, Luis and Lonnie are plotting against me by the sound of it. And Andy talking about the pensioner killer cars. I think that's how they're referred to in Portugal. Those little vehicles there, 28 horsepower, still can be lethal at 128 kilometers per hour. So Susan, I hope that explained. And I think you do feel like a gumper now. Oh, yes, I've seen those, the original smart car, the Sado there. It's superb. Let's have just one quick look at it again. The original smart car, let's compare and contrast again to the Mini that it's parked next to. And I was going to say, and the lady driving it could be a fella with a real nice bushy barnet from the 70s there, right? No, the 80s, because it was made in the 80s. That black and white picture, making me think it was a bit longer ago than that. And I think this one, this young gentleman here, a proud owner in a much later stage in history there. Okay, yes. So Louise has seen one of those and seems to quite like it. Not gonna be too good for the bigger people getting into those, is it? The taller people, I wonder. So yeah, and can anyone help James with these coffee beans? Organic, shade grown, fair trade, dark roast, decaf, anyone? And I'm not sure what that means, the bula bula thing in there. Is that a coffee reference? I wonder. Yeah, and I was surprised to hear that. But not surprised, a bit shocked, but not surprised. Yeah, only auto. The modern cars are all automatic in a way, and you can sort of have a little bit of a mess about yourself to feel like you're in control of it, but you're probably not. And Thunder's advice there: if you can get an automatic in Portugal, but it might take a little bit of time to do that. You great people by shouting their name, Carl. Okay. Oh, I see. Is it Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Possibly. I'm not sure if that is or not. But you know you're a gumper. We enjoyed these. You know you're a gumper when you get up at 3:30 in the morning to watch live. Absolutely, as Lonnie has done, and as Jeff is now doing, as he writes, as he says that himself. And yes, she's confirming herself a gumper because she tunes into the live show when she should be busy working. Thank you for all these comments. Yes, to all of those that get up at 3:30, Louise and I salute you. It's quite amazing. So yes, and to me, asking Jean how the packing's going, packed, repacked, and today I will repack again. Is that to get it into a smaller and smaller case there? Get up mornings, primarily exploring, relocating sunwards. Very good. I see what you did there with the old acronym there. You go, Gumpers spelled out for you. Owen, you know you're a Gumper when you're asked to cook live. How are you feeling about that tomorrow? I'm really looking forward to it. I think there's going to be quite a lot of giggling going on in that kitchen. Let's see what we can do. Will your legendary batter be involved? Let us know what's happening tomorrow, Owen. I have to be up before 10:30 a.m., walk the dog, and make my espresso to tune in to the Good Morning Portugal on time there in Finland. Amazing. Povodovajin was amazing. Loved it. And Paredes de Cura. So, Marty, another Northern Portugal convert. Quite incredible, huh? And you know you're a gumper when you consider the madman Carl Munson one of your friends. None taken. It's probably true that. Have to go to the office now. Catch you all later. Eusebio, thank you so much. And he's missed his wonderful contribution there. I hope he'll be able to watch that back later on. Lonnie with another one. You know you're a gumper when you begin to replace Good Morning Portugal as part of your social life. Well, 90 minutes of social life. It's more than you'll get from a lot of friends these days, isn't it? Let's face it. Jim's here as well. Bon dia, todos. And lots of lovely feedback about Spartan FX. They are like part of our gang, aren't they? Bon dia from Antonio F as well. Good morning to you, Antonio. How are you this morning, my friend? And Jody Vajko talking to Sarah. I purchased all of our stovetop pans at IKEA here in Portugal. They are made in Italy and more of an eco-friendly coating on them. They have wooden handles and heat quite nicely. You got to hand it to IKEA, haven't you? Quite incredible. I really enjoy going to IKEA, and I know people have their reservations about it. I know you can get lost. You've got to plan properly. You can be lost in there for days, but I was really admiring and acknowledging the contribution IKEA make. Of course, it's massive consumerism, but they do it so well, don't they? Yes, people are getting Sarah to send messages back to the folks at Spartan. James says, Suze, I've had chronic fatigue since chemo 14 years ago. Oh, sorry to hear that, Susan. Doctors have been useless. Creating purpose, walking the dog, excitement in planning for Portugal musters up some energy. I'm glad we're part of that in some way there. And I think you'd enjoy some of Mrs. M's broadcasts as well, Susan, if you haven't already seen those. James responding to you. I'm going to eavesdrop on this. Oh, I see. Very happy you're here. I find it therapeutic as well. Alegria. Great way to start the day. Yes, personal phone calls when requested, family. I don't do that. Well, I think I do actually for some of you, but we don't. He's talking about Spartan, isn't he? More than the personal phone call service from Expats Portugal. Hola, bon dia. Hey, Chris, Capricorn 12. I'm going to hold your video for tomorrow because, as you heard, it's the Ask Anything About Portugal. Portuguese food and Portuguese cooking tomorrow with Owen. So it's perfect to share tomorrow your lovely video from Sagres. Hola, bon dia. The Faja, the Jazz Funk do Dia. So Different by Kinky Fox. It's worth listening to just to find out exactly how kinky that track is by Kinky Fox. The bass line on this track is fantastic. We do have a collective playlist for you old funkers out there. Funkers, I said. Mike, what's going on? How is it for you over there? And what is your approach to homeschool? How's that going? Your moustache game is looking much stronger today, Carl. Well, thank you. I'll just stick it on top of your comment there, Marty. My bigod. It is turning into a bigod grand. And yes, yes, Sado was the Portuguese car of the 80s. And it looks like an enclosed golf car, says 3 for the road. We will not have you speaking of the Sado like that. My moustache of choice currently. Oh, there's Francis coming on nicely. Well done, Francis. And that's immortalized, I think, on his residency card now. This is when you regret things in later decades, isn't it? Where's me Pato moustache? Here he is. Is that him? Yes. I'm going to go for the Luis Pato. It was going to be Tom Selleck, Clark Gable, a number of candidates, but that's the look I'm going to go for. That bad boy there, the winemakers, the wine tasters moustache. Not long now before I'll be tasting and testing wine again. July of 2022, everybody. I can still smell it. I do like to enjoy the aromas without drinking myself at the moment. And yes, we've discovered Rugby Colin's dream car. Well done, Colin. It's taken a long time, hasn't it? But finally, the Sado clearly is the car for you. Would someone get good street cred driving one of those here? It's so cute. I think so. I think you would get nods of acknowledgement, wouldn't you? I cannot call any of my animals after the Sado. No, the name was a problem, I think, there, right? Okay, we all buy one and share it. I love it. There we go. Let's crowdfund the Sado, the Gumpers Sado. What could possibly go wrong with that? I had 2 smart cars, one electric in LA, and it was brilliant. Seriously, a small car in the city is best. So they were way ahead of the game there, weren't they? You'd have to be a masochist to drive a Sado at high speed at its full speed of 120 kilometers. Marty, my toaster is larger than that car. Brilliant. Oh, there is a toaster hack in the hotel hacks I'm about to bring you before we finish today. Hello from Mandy. Hey, Mandy, from Baltimore. In the northeast of the US, I guess I can call myself a gumper. You can. You absolutely can. I bought a little Lancia here and still scrape the side on a village wall. Yikes. And I'm sure there's someone in the village who can polish that out for you, or maybe you'll just leave it on there. New area of interest for me, thanks, Carl, but now seeing most flattering stashes match the owner's eyebrows. That never occurred to me. You're obviously a very visual person, Susan. Okay. The Sado 550, the Daihatsu engine, sold at auction in Lisbon. Look at that. I bet you wish you bought one now. $7,000. And what would it have cost to buy in those days, in the 80s, I wonder? It's a 95 I love it. It's a 95 or something. Lol from Rebel Mama. Just asking if you got to play the show reel by any chance. I did not play the show reel, and I don't know where it's gone now, but I will. Don't you worry about that, Francis. We will get that played. Mexican food, and that's there you go. Can you please, Francis, even though I can't lay my hands on it right now, can you put a link to the incredible work you do? This is ahead of you coming to Portugal. People, I think, will have need for Francis services or some networking going on, people helping each other in this regard. So please put a link into your work, your website, Francis. It's Rebel Mama that's missing the Mexican food with corn tortillas. I think you can get that. Probably not in the north, but certainly you won't struggle further down south at getting hold of that. Ali Shortcut is here. Hi, good morning. Hello, mate. Yes, I use that whether you're a man or a woman. I'm saying hello, mate, in a British way. I think it's actually Beulah. What is? I still don't know what that is. And we miss good Mexican food as well. Continent has decent corn tortillas. I told you. We can't get you Ethiopian food here. We have a restocking arrangement with the Ethiopian baker near our house in America. Not sustainable. If anyone else knows where to get shiro, it would be great. There you go. Reaching out for the shiro there. Here we go as well. Going to make my version of that great British staple, baked beans. Open the windows. The Janellas in the Alberto Janellas in Alviagra tomorrow, the amazing Austin studio. Just a little production note there. Baked beans being made and consumed. That is a great idea, Owen, because if you can't get them, you might want to make them at home. And goodness only knows beans are in plentiful supply here in Portugal. Looking forward to that. That sounds great. Baked beans tomorrow morning here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Make them yourself. Homemade corn tortillas are easy and delicious, says Thunder. You just need the masa, the flour. Checking in from Mississippi is John Gibson. Hello, John. How are you? Tudo bem? We're going to IKEA tomorrow. Wish me luck. You're going to be fine. Come on, man up and plan it. Thunder, and enjoy it. I really enjoyed my last visit there. Ree's here. Morning, Carl from Chile, Florida. How you doing, Ree? Lovely to see you here. I once asked IKEA if I could live there. They politely said no. Well, I did a meditation video. I sat down for a good half an hour on a sofa. No one bothered me. I think you'll be all right over here, Jim, if you want to try that again. And mind blown. Never seen you without the beard. I think I miss it. I do as well. And it is a better choice in the winter. It's coming. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. Luis Pato related to Thunder. We've got to get those two together, haven't we? Oh, voice message. I think this will play. Let's see if this will come through. Let me know, folks, if you're hearing this.
Hiya, Carl. No batter involved tomorrow. No, I'm going to do the Great British Staple, as I said in my text.
Oh, hold on a minute. You can't be changing messages whilst listening to one. Start again.
Hiya, Carl. No batter involved tomorrow. No, I'm going to do the Great British Staple, as I said in my text. I'm going to recreate baked beans. It's one of my things I managed to find out myself while I was here, rather than paying the prices that I find in the supermarkets.
Yes.
But today, I'm creating a three-course dinner this evening. A chicken liver pate with a homemade apple and onion chutney. And then for main course with some seasonal vegetables, I'm going to do a roast duck with a red wine and red currant sauce. And then for dessert, I'm going to make a molten chocolate pudding with some vanilla ice cream. Looking forward to tomorrow. Have a great day, Gumpers. See you later.
There you go. There's Owen. Wow, that sounds like a nice dinner tonight, doesn't it? And he'll be here making beans in the morning. You can compare recipes, Louise, tomorrow. I make great baked beans in my crock pot, she says. Crock pots, they're really catching on, aren't they? Great idea. On Consumer Tuesday, where did you source your crock pot and which is your favorite brand of those? Because they can do all sorts, can't they? Those wonderful things. Algarve trip, December the 9th, home buying trip. Fantastic, John. So glad to hear that. A Sado masochist. Get it? I do. Sorry, a bit slow on the uptake there. That's really very good. Yes, look away now, Thunder. He's cooking. Old Owen was cooking duck tonight. Don't worry, Ree, it will come back. I do miss. We're getting the icy breeze on the face in the morning. I'm thinking, I do wish me a beard. And wow, Owen has a great voice, doesn't he? And he cooks. He's another Renaissance man, another very creative person, and credit to our community. Delivered to the door. Oh, hold on a minute. We need we need to have a cook that will travel for all these new to me dishes. He does. He'll cook. He'll come over and cook for you, Jacqueline, for sure. Donna Jacqueline's here, everybody. He would do. He'll come and cook and talk to you in that voice whilst cooking. So he's on tomorrow, doing the beans tomorrow. Okay, and back. So this show is so long that people can go out and shop, grow beards and all sorts of things like that and still see the end of the show. It's fantastic. And Pamela here from Alcobaça with her customary bondi. Is that Gary? What's your cat's name there? Chef movie reference there. Oh, did I miss that? Okay, so come back with that and anything I've missed in those many comments that we are seeing in the thread this morning. You gumpers, you lovely gumpers, and let's have a look at this this wonderful and slightly giggly hotel hack thing. Which of these, folks, have you tried? Because some of you will be coming to. I thought to myself, this came up, you know, as one of those sort of clickbait things on YouTube, I think, and I thought, okay, I'll have a quick look because some of these pictures are very funny. That is not a toilet brush. That is an innovated. Homemade or hotel made toothbrush pot, and this is how we begin here. And remote controls in cling film. You can see why I wanted to click on this, can't you? And a pot noodle made with the hot water maker inside the hotel room, so you can eat in style. Owen probably thinking, "Oh my goodness, why would anyone do that to themselves?" Let's scroll through and have a look at a few of these. Fresh aroma to start. Yes, from baked beans to fresh aromas here. Hotel room hack. Put a car vent air freshener clip on the AC heater unit in the hotel to freshen up the room. I think that's a good opener, isn't it? What a great idea. I thought somebody had put their car key or lost their car keys in the air conditioning with that thing. I've never seen an air freshener like that. I'm more used to your kind of magic tree style with the old air fresheners. But anyway, you get the gist there. That's not a bad idea, is it? It's because sometimes how can we say, the hotel room can be a little bit funky, can't it? And you might want to change it up a little bit in there with some improvised aromatherapy. Thunder already in with a hotel hack, stay in an Airbnb. But the same applies with some of these, of course. On to the next one then. I mean, sometimes you get the feeling, don't you, when people are writing blogs, they are scraping the barrel a bit. Take your laptop and plug it into the hotel or Airbnb telly. I mean, everyone's done that, haven't they? And they've got another one where, of course, a nice hack, if you've lost or forgotten your charger because you're traveling around, and often that is a thing that does get lost, right? And the cables, and there are some hacks about that, of course, in this as well. But the great thing about modern TVs, smart TVs, is that a lot of them have got USB plug on the back, socket on the back, and you can, if you have got your cable, you can charge up your phone using the USB cable. I have done that one. Okay, so moving on then, Netflix. I mean, maybe you just watch it on your laptop anyway. Why put it on the big telly? This is a good one, isn't it? I thought this was a man hiding in the window with corduroy trousers on. No, it's corduroy curtains by the look of it. It might be possible. This is privacy on your own terms in this blog. And thank you to morehackswithaz.com. It might be possible that your hotel room might not always give you the best view of your surroundings. Yes, like you booked it with a sea view, and you have a view of the abattoir at the back of the building, as it turns out, or, you know, the nuclear power facility with flashing lights and sirens all night long. Anyway, you might have city lights and noises interfering with the peace you expected from your vacation. You can easily make that problem disappear. So you get one of the hangers out that's got the little clips, and you can clip the curtains together. I think that's pretty clever, that one. Quick fix humidifier. Look at this. You get, this reminds me of you, Donna J, one of those suitcase tables there. Sometimes being in a hotel room that is climate controlled can be a bad thing too, right? With the best climate control is a window, is it not? With the constant air conditioning, you might feel dry. Our body requires a certain percentage of humidity for proper functioning. They are, I mean, this is obviously we're trying to squeeze a blog out here. Let's just write a sentence like that. And the AC or radiator might cause some skin damage. But look, this is what they're suggesting for that. Pop your wet towel, damp towel, over one of the old suitcase tables, suitcase stands, and put that next to your heater, right? To avoid that, we can use a simple trick which does not require us to demand a humidifier from the hotel reception. Good luck with that in Portugal. You can I remember some friends of ours staying in quite a posh hotel and asking for a heater. No, we can't give you a heater, but it's cold in the room. Sorry, it's winter. You can simply put a damp cloth in front of the radiator and let the moisture fill up the air of the room. This way, you might save yourself from becoming a raisin. Who would want that? So be careful. Do not put things on radiators as they've done in that picture, electric radiators. That will be silly and could cause a fire. I feel I need to point that out, not to you gumpers, but to other people who might watch this video. You might think doing chores would be the last thing anyone would want to do on their vacation. Absolutely. But sometimes doing laundry can be an inescapable part of the trip. So what's going on here then? They're putting a shower cap or an old plastic bag in the plug hole, where sometimes there isn't a plug, is there? Or sometimes the water drains very quickly. The hack here is to put a bit of plastic and a couple of coins. I can see that all disappearing down there. And I see that plug hole has got a little grid on it, a grill to stop things falling down. Not always the case in Portugal. Be aware of that. Sometimes when you take the plug out, you've just got a great void, a great big hole. You can almost get your fist down, where rings and all sorts of things can disappear. And kids love putting stuff down those holes. Mrs. M is very concerned about that here in the house that we live in. So there you go. You can stuff that plug hole with a plastic bag and put a couple of coins in for ballast. And then you can do your own laundry if you really want to. This one I like. Look at this. Cold butter problems. Don't you find it annoying? First world problem alert. When your bread is perfectly toasted, but the butter is as cold as ice. Is there anything worse? That is the problem with hotel buffets. You can get everything you want, but not quite the way you want it. Oh, listen to you, Lord Fauntleroy. I'm being alerted to free up space. Look, thaw your cold butter on top of the toaster. I think that might get some people in a lot of trouble. I'm seeing butter foils bursting into flames. I get the gist of this, and I think it's a good one, but it takes some vigilance, doesn't it? You can't be walking away to the grill chef and asking for your omelette and leaving that going on in the background, because you turn around to see that your butter's actually become caramelized and the foil is flaming away on the top of the toaster. You approach this one with some caution, folks, but it's not a bad idea. I mean, the other thing to do, of course, is as you're moving away from the toaster, is to put those butter portions on top of the warm toast or in between a couple. Would be my hack on that. Not so dangerous. TV to the rescue. So smart TVs have got a USB socket. You can charge your phone up on that. Like that? I thought you might like that one. If you have butter problems, just use a butter bell. Raphael, a man of great taste, distinction, and a world traveller, as you see there, but not your average globetrotter. What is a butter bell? I don't know what that is. Thanks, Carl. Please link to Mrs. M, please. I read about belly button treatment with coconut oil. Did you? She must have done as well, and she's doing it to me now. Maybe that or other oils are the ticket for me. Yeah, you can use different oils for different effects, as we're discovering here at bedtime at Casa Munson. Carl, Jamaican, Portuguese, Indian, Dutch. Imagine all those flavors landing on your taste buds at the same time. That's the food mixture in the Capricorn 12 household. That does sound delicious. My goodness. Jamaican, Portuguese, Indian, and Dutch. Stop. If you forgot your phone cable, just ask at the desk. Most hotels have a box of forgotten cables. Use somebody else's. That's a good idea, isn't it? Jaresh is amazing. I'm just eavesdropping on a conversation between Rebel Mama and Marty. You live a blessed life. Absolutely. We've seen the videos of cows and horses turning up there in Jaresh. It is absolutely beautiful. That cuisine sounds amazing, Capricorn, and I'm so says Marty. On the Jaresh, just to continue it, there used to be the only place in Portugal where you could find the wild horses, the Granos, and now there's also a horse herd in Sintra's National Park. Thanks, Antonio F, for that. And love the last video you made about Alcobaça from Chris to you, Louise. It looks like a lovely place. Since watching Expats Portugal, the North and Central Portugal has really become exciting to explore. Great info. It's our pleasure, isn't it, Louise, to do that. So look, moving on then. We've got to find the remote control encased in cling film, haven't we? And some of these, look at this. If you're traveling with kids or a companion, right, and you want to save money, and you haven't got a twin, this is a way of making a separation down the bed. And haven't we all done this at some time in our lives? Have a row with a spouse, and you've got something else a bit like that going on, haven't you? With the old line of the Berlin Wall of pillows down the middle. Harumph! If you are traveling with the kids, you'll most certainly end up sharing your room with them. An extra cot in the room very well translates to extra money spent on the hotel, unless you're a continuum parent, of course, and there's flipping kids in the bed anyway. You are... Me? You use your creativity to adjust to the number of people in a room within reason, right? One way to do that is to have a large bed separated into 2 small beds using pillows. This could give you and the kids separate spaces in one single space. I think they're scraping the barrel here, aren't they? They're scraping the king size with this one. Natural iron. Have we done this, everybody? Where you hang your clothes up and then get steam going in the bathroom. That's quite good, isn't it? The steam from your hot shower will ease out the creases. Does it work for faces as well, I wonder? No speakers needed. This is a good one. Drink the coffee first, though, okay? If you put your phone inside a mug like that or a cardboard box, it will boost it up like an organic amplifier. Good music can amplify your vacation mood tenfold. Can't it just ask Capricorn 12. But you don't need to carry speakers so that you can play music loudly if you follow this hack. If you want a stereo effect in your hotel room without speakers, you can simply put your phone in a mug. Yeah, don't forget that you might have put some water in there that you took from the gym, which is a later hack here. Tell them it's your honeymoon. Please only do that if it is your honeymoon or an anniversary, because that's a bit embarrassing and cheeky if it's not, especially when you go down and other staff are saying to you, oh, congratulations. And you go, what? The honeymoon? Oh, yeah. But this is what you can end up with. I mean, I'm looking at that picture and thinking, I'm probably not going to tell them it's my honeymoon, although I would like to know how to make an elephant out of a towel at some point. I'm jealous of people who can do things like that. Table to dine in. Can we have an ironing board, please, in room 27? It's dinner time for the children. I'm not sure that kid nearest the camera is that impressed with Dad's innovation there. The others are young enough to see the fun in that, aren't they? The kid on the end there just wants to eat in a restaurant, isn't he? Like, why do we always have to do this when we're on holiday? Dad, you're such a cheapskate. Please, can we just go to McDonald's or down to the restaurant rather than sit here on an iron at the end of the bed, an iron with one of the hotel towels on it? Don't spill anything, kids. Okay, no need for a nightstand. This is another barrel scraper, but the lovely, is that called an envelope edge that so many nurses who are watching might recognize? That's the right way to fold the bed, isn't it? Or if you've been a chalet maid, is there such a thing as a chalet boy? I'll use that in the unisex, chalet maids of every gender. That's the right way to turn the corner on the bed. And look, you can lose your phone, glasses, and other items in there when you're 100 kilometers away. And remember, where's my phone and my spectacles? Tucked into the handy hack on the edge of the bed. Cap it. That's a good one. Use the shower cap for muddy trainers. Smelly trainers, two shower caps there. I nearly said shower Capricorns. One on top, one on the bottom. That's a good one if you are given 2 shower caps. Check out the front desk for what extras you can have. Who knows? They might have a crochet kit to just really give your holiday that edge. Make Christmas gifts while away on holiday. Too hot to handle. The old cold towel on the window routine. Where's the cling film on the remote control? That's the one I want. Look at this. Food delivery at your service. I mean, everyone's done that, haven't they? Got an Uber to the hotel room. That's a good one, but maybe it hasn't occurred to everybody. Mini fridge, ice in the sink. Not so good when you want to have a shave, though. Or you've had a shave and you put the ice in there. It's an unholy mess. Extra charges. I think we've dealt with that one. Soundproof your room. Good luck with that. Do we really think that's going to stop the noisy honeymoon couple in the room above by putting a towel down by the bottom of the door? I don't think so. Don't miss a thing. Now, this one I do like. Put a little kink in your charger and your car keys. Now, the thing with this is you're either going to remember everything or lose the lot, aren't you, with that? But I do get the point there. That's a pretty good one. Putting your car key on a carabiner and knotting it to your charging cable. You're likely to pick up your phone, aren't you? Instant dinner hack. Now, come on, Owen, what do you think of this? A hot and spicy bowl noodle. Should be called bowel noodles, shouldn't it? Look at it. If you're really hungry, obviously, or drunk, you would eat that, wouldn't you? Actually, yeah, being drunk in a hotel room and you think, okay, where are the hot and spices? Let's get them going. Well, hey, more wine, more pot noodles. Not a bad idea, but only if you're hungry or drunk. And there we go. Finally, then, for now, I feel like I might be doing a bit of FOMO here. We might have missed out on a real cracker at the end. We'll scroll through quickly. But if you're someone who's very particular about cleanliness, don't stay in a hotel. Oh, no. Then you might find the idea of staying in a hotel terrifying, because living in a room that people from all over the world share is not your idea of relaxation. That might not have occurred to some people, and now they don't want to do it ever again. But anyway, there's always a solution to any problem you might face. It's good philosophy. The hotel staff basically clean the rooms, but you can also take your own precautions. Things like remote controls and other amenities in your room can be covered in plastic bags, condoms possibly, so that you don't have to touch them with your own hands. I mean, what do people do with remote controls? Don't answer that. And then there's a load of other ones that I think are just in there to make the blog a little bit longer and keep you scrolling. The toothbrush holder, for example. Turn a cup upside down, stab your... Is that... Do Beats make headphones as well as toothbrushes? Is that the branding I'm seeing there? But that keeps your toothbrush away from the business end of other things going on in the bathroom, doesn't it? And look at this, the bribery. Does anyone do this? We do not wholeheartedly encourage you to pursue this idea, but if it brings out anything good, then why not? These are the times that we live in, and as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, there's nothing wrong with giving out incentives or motivation to get your work done. Whenever you check into a hotel and you're required to produce an ID that verifies your identity, if you slip a $20 bill along with your ID and ask for an upgrade, chances are you might get one. What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, if the upgrade is only worth $10, you're out of pocket. But they might return your money and refuse to do it. And it's slightly awkward thereafter, right? That looked to me, this next one, meal made by you, looks awful, quite frankly. Instant porridge and cereal. I mean, that's, I go away on holiday to have a great time. The idea of making a meal from things I've brought with me in my luggage out of old Ziploc bags, just takes all the glamour. Anyway, take water from the gym. There's another one, and others that are just basically, I think, filling up the rest of this blog. But there you go. Bit of fun for you there, because I know some of you will be coming over and staying in Airbnbs and hotels. And you might use one of those and think to myself, where did I find out about this? The Gumpers helped us out again with their little hotel hacks there. You need to do more of these. Your commentary is hysterical. Oh, thank you very much for that. You're too kind, Rebel Mama. What is the standard tipping rate in hotels in Portugal? I think you're looking 10% upwards for any tip here. Just wrong, Carl. What? Yeah, the old, I thought you might say that, Owen. The old pot noodle made by the hot water machine. It kind of ruins a good holiday unless you are drunk. Oh, we've missed quite a few here. This is fantastic. That cuisine, he's not talking about the pot noodle there. He's talking about Capricorn's hybrid approach in their household. You're too kind, says Raphael. I believe it's also called a butter crock. Keeps the butter fresh and spreadable. Uses water to cut the oxygen off from letting it go bad. Wow. You set the butter in continued. We'll come back to that. Oh, a small ceramic vessel and put it upside down and submerge it. That sounds amazing, the old butter bell. The ideal Christmas gift for a gentleman who has everything, possibly. As well as penicillin. Let's see what else is being said here about those hotel hacks. I think you're just talking to each other now, aren't you? Butterball or Butterbell? I hadn't thought about wild horses helping contribute to prevent wildfires. Great stuff. Just wrong, Carl. Yeah, Owen, not happy about that. Pot noodle serving suggestion. And Canadian money comes in different colours with uniform size. Euro 5 note is so small, I put them aside for fear of losing them. Folded with the rest. Nice tip there. Pardon the pun. Marty, okay, yeah, on the tipping thing, not sure about hotels, but tipping in restaurants isn't a thing here. We stopped doing it. Not wanting to have restaurant owners lobby for lower wages due to tips being included as wages. So there you go. There's an interesting approach on that. And yes, it's not a requirement. Often people are a bit awkward when you give them a tip in Portugal. It's very interesting. We will come back to that, I'm sure, on other Consumer Tuesdays. I really enjoy critters of all sorts, so this makes me happy, says Marty, who I think has enjoyed the show this morning, talking about goats and horses in the Peneda Gerês. You've been amazing. We've gone past 10 o'clock. We're going to go out with, a couple of pictures. Actually, look, Consumer Tuesday. If you're going to the Azores, Mark and Mary are there, of course, at the moment. This is Les's Oceanic Bar. We had Les on the show. What a legend. What a bar that looks like. Doesn't that look like great fun? Great atmosphere there. The Oceanic Bar, to commend to you. And Mary and Mark are enjoying that and said, Carl, you've got to come out to this. Okay, I will. Don't know when. And just another quick look at my favourite lamppost. There you go. It's just catching on. Have you got a favourite lamppost as well in Portugal? Probably not, but who knows what might happen. It's the distinguished gentleman's must have a favourite lamppost. Okay, Dougie, from you, let's go out with this. This is a wonderful video from one of Dougie's 2-minute tasters, basically this morning. Carvoeiro in the Algarve. Savour this, and we will go out in the traditional way. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to have so much fun tomorrow. Owen will be making baked beans. The Austin brothers will be on production, and I will be here live from the Silver Coast, connecting with all of that and you as we watch baked beans being cooked a la Owen in front of our very eyes. See you then for that, and enjoy Carvoeiro right now, courtesy of Dougie.
Okay. Here's my 2-minute taster of Carvoeiro. So we'll start with the inevitable beach. And it's a beauty. Like a lot of these places, Carvoeiro is a town of many parts. Then up there you've got kind of an upper Carvoeiro with viewpoints. I can imagine that during the height of the season, that beach is going to be pretty crammed full. Of course, you've got a square where all the restaurants and bars are for your daily dose of coffee and pastels. There's an ornamental palm tree or two. And there are some elevated viewpoints where it all can be taken in. Not least of all that bay. Isn't that absolutely stunning? Fancy a silly hat, anyone? Carvoeiro certainly has plenty of restaurants to choose from. The place is very, very beautiful. In some ways, almost a bit Italianate. No one goes hungry here in Carvoeiro. And to top it all, Carvoeiro offers a lovely little high street, for want of a better name. Loads of places to go browsing, and even more restaurants and coffee shops. And the cow ends my 2-minute taster.